Graph from standard form of an equation. This is the screencast. For this screencast, you're going to learn how to graph the line of an equation given in standard form by finding the x and the y intercepts. In order to have a good understanding of this lesson, you should already be able to find the x and y intercepts from an equation. And we're going to use this lesson in the future when we're graphing equations in all forms. So I'm not going to really go into too much what standard form is, but basically standard form is when you have your x's and y's on the left-hand side and a number on the right-hand side. There are more rules and we can talk about those later, but what I really want to do is focus on how to graph from this standard form. And what we're going to do when it's in standard form, the easiest thing to do actually, is to graph it by finding the x and the y intercepts. So that's what we're going to do. Now, let's focus on the x-intercept first. And we need to remember, as a coordinate, the x-intercept has a y-coordinate of 0. And that is going to help me in my standard form of the equation because all I'm going to do is substitute 0 for y. Now, when we multiply 2 times 0, that's just 0. So 3x minus 0 is actually just 3x. So we're going to have the 3x equals 12. To finish up, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And it turns out we get x is 4. So as a coordinate, my x-intercept is 4, 0. Because the x is 4 and the y is 0. So I'm going to go to 4, 0, and we're going to plot that point. The next thing we're going to do is find the y-intercept. So again, the y-intercept this time is when x is 0. And what I'm going to do is substitute 0 for x. So again, 3 times 0 is 0. We don't usually write the 0. So when we simplify, that's just going to be negative 2y equals 12. After we divide both sides by negative 2, we get that y equals negative 6. And our coordinate, remember, x is 0, y is negative 6. So our coordinate is going to be 0, negative 6. And this is where our line is going to cross the y-axis. So now I just need to draw the line that has a y-intercept of negative 6 and an x-intercept of 4. And that's pretty much how you graph the line. You only need to find 2 points. Let's look at another example. We have 4x minus y equals negative 4. So again, this is an example of standard form. To graph by standard form, we find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. The x-intercept is when y equals 0. So you're going to find a point on the x-axis. So we're going to start in standard form. I'm going to substitute 0 for y. Well, 4x minus 0 is just 4x. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. We get x equals negative 1. As a coordinate, that is negative 1, 0. When we find the y-intercept, that's when x equals 0. So I am going to substitute 0 for x. So 4 times 0 is 0. So all we would basically be left with is negative y equals negative 4. And remember, there's that's really not a negative y, it's negative 1 times y. So I am going to divide both sides by negative 1. And we get y equals 4. And our coordinate would be 0, 4. So this is where our line is going to cross our y-axis. And now that we have 2 points, we can just go ahead and draw the line. So those are our 2 examples that can help you graph the line of an equation given in standard form by finding the x and the y intercepts.